Hello, everyone. Welcome to 2021. So I wanted to put out this video. I haven't posted in a while, but I wanted to give you kind of a recap of 2020 for me and also go into some tips of what to do with your money now for 2021. Sort of what the economic environment looks like and what I'm doing and what I'm recommending for my coaching clients to do with their money so that they can maximize their money for 2021. So let's have a 2020 recap real quick. So I started off last year with the 75 hard challenge. I don't know if you guys remember that, but it was 75 days of consistently hitting 5 tasks, working out twice a day, sticking to a diet, reading 10 pages of a non-fiction, self-development, personal development type book, drinking a gallon of water a day, and taking a progress photo. I was able to do that for the 75 days in spite of the fact that I tore my ACL. I don't know if you guys remember that, but about 8 days into the challenge, I tore my ACL playing football and had to take a different approach. For me, the challenge was more about mental toughness, overcoming obstacles, and I was able to do that in spite of the injury. I thankfully had short-term and long-term disability insurance, and that's a type of insurance that covers your income in a situation where you are unable to work. Now, I was only able to get 60% of my base salary, but that was able to help me survive until I was able to go back to work. Now, I highly recommend that as part of your financial plan, in order for you to have a solid financial plan, that part of it is to protect your most important asset, which is your income. So having an insurance in place in order to protect your income in the situation where you are unable to work due to an injury or an illness. Now, we all know that 2020 was a very strange year because right around March time frame, as I finished my challenge, COVID-19 happened. Right? And that changed the landscape of pretty much everyone's year. In spite of the COVID-19 pandemic, I got engaged. While I was off due to my injury, I was able to get a boat, and that was amazing because it added an entire new level of entertainment for myself, for my son, my fiance, who is now my wife, because we also got married this year in November. We got married, we tied the knot, so it's official, and that goes to show you, right? In spite of all the craziness going on in the world and everything, there are still positive things that you could do for your life. That it could be completely unrelated to all the events and everything that's going on. You can still take care of your situation, take care of your life, and make the best use of what your circumstances are. Now, beyond that, it was an election year. I think close to around the election time is around the time that I started slowing down on the type of content that I was putting out. I know that social media was very polarizing, and no matter what you did, if you were on social media during this time, it was all election related. So that was something that we as a country had to go through. Whether or not you agree with or like the results, it is what it is. So when we look at planning our personal finances for 2021, part of that is taking necessary steps to protect and grow your wealth in spite of who the president is, what the tax policy is, what the political economic circumstances are, whether there's a pandemic happening or not, all of those things are the circumstances that we deal with. But there's still things that you could do with your money to grow your wealth and protect your wealth long term. Now, we just got through the holidays, so Merry Christmas, everyone, and Happy New Year. I am very happy to be in 2021, and there's a lot of exciting things that I have going on. I was able to start my financial coaching business last year. I was able to actually start helping clients achieve the goal of organizing their finances, finally getting on a clear path towards financial freedom, and giving them a clear estimation of how long it will take to get there. I've been able to help them sit through and organize their money in a way that they're like, wow, considering everything that's going on, I have a plan to success. I have a plan to set myself up for success for life. So, that being said, 2021, how can you guys organize your money in a way to take advantage of everything that's going on and set yourself up for success? All right, so let's cover a couple key items. Number one, we had an increase in minimum wage. Most states are affected by this in that the minimum wage is going to be increasing in increments over the next 5 years. Also, regardless of your political views, the Trump tax bill was saving the average American about $4,000. Now, we are yet to see what the long-term tax ramifications are going to be with the new administration, but it's safe to say that taxes may be going up. One of the first things that Biden wants to do when he gets into office is to take away Trump's tax plan. Trump's tax plan saved the average American about $4,000. So taking that away means that the average American's taxes will increase by $4,000. So depending on what the final new tax plan will be, it's not likely that taxes are going to go down. Now, maybe taxes stay the same, so it's a wash for the average American, but most likely taxes will go up. So minimum wage is going up, taxes will go up. Right now, interest rates are at the lowest they could ever go. They have historically have never been as low as they are now. And for how long will we have interest rates this low? And when I say interest rates, I'm talking about the Federal Reserve is loaning money to banks. Banks loan money to people for houses, for personal loans, for school, for education, for all sorts of things, car loans. So right now, the Federal Reserve is loaning money to banks at 0% interest. So there is no monetary policy left to stimulate economic growth. We're at the lowest interest could possibly be. So for how long will interest rates be this low? That is the question mark. That is the unknown factor. But if you think about it, it can't be forever. Interest rates cannot be this low probably even for the next 4 years. For them to keep interest rates at 0 for the next 4 years, I would say that's pretty aggressive. So most likely interest rates will go back up over the next 4 years. So let's put these factors together. Minimum wage is going up, taxes are going up, interest rates are likely to go up in the next couple years. Those three things stagnate economic growth and actually turn it around. Aside from the fact that what I just looked up, unemployment rate's about 7%, and the forbearance, people who are deferring on their mortgage for the forbearance, is about 9%. So when you take all of these factors into an account, we just experienced last year a pandemic where most of the country had to be shut down in order to mitigate this disease, right? So how was it that the stock market crashes, right? It drops like half, and then within like 3 months, it's not only back to where it was, but it's doing better. All while unemployment is going up, your forbearances are going up, right? What happened to the housing market? Okay, they dropped interest rates to stimulate growth, so the stock market goes back up, but then the housing market experiences its own boom, right? People start selling their houses left and right, and they're not only able to get market value, but they're able to get above market value. And as more people buy and the housing inventory starts to shrink, the value goes up. And right now, houses are selling like crazy, and interest rates being the lowest that they possibly could be, people are able to spend more money and have the same payment that they would have had otherwise, which is causing an increase in the housing market. So I cannot predict what will happen in the future. I just look at historical data, and for me, I have decided to do a couple things, and if you want to have a good plan for yourself for 2021, here are some items to consider. Number one is invest in what you know, right? So Bitcoin has tripled this year. Gold is something that people have been recommending because of the inflation rate. When the value of the dollar goes down, the value of gold goes up, right? Single stocks, even. Any of these items require slightly greater knowledge than most average investors have. In order to make money in these items, it's not one of those things you just invest in, set it and forget it, and you're done. Because that's where a lot of people lose money, right? When you invest in something that you're not very familiar with. So, number one, invest in something that you're familiar with. If you're not familiar with these items, don't put the bulk of your investing here. If you have extra money to invest, you could put it in here, but not your main investing. Number two, what I'm doing is I'm stockpiling cash. Right now, considering everything I just told you, it's likely that there will be a correction in both the stock market and the housing market. Now, I can't predict that, but in order for me to hedge that loss, I'm stockpiling cash right now. And my preferred investment vehicle is real estate. So I want to be able to have cash ready for when the housing market corrects itself. Having that money available to make moves once the market goes the other way, that's invaluable. And if you have that money tied up in Bitcoin or the stock market or these variable types of investment vehicles, when the housing market corrects itself, you may not have all that cash readily available. You may have to ride the wave. And unfortunately, that may take away a lot of potential growth. Number three is to keep your long-term investing strategy. So if you are using tax-sheltered investment accounts like a Roth IRA or your company 401ks, I would say keep doing that, right? If you have greater than a 20-year investment horizon, keep investing. When it comes to dollar cost averaging, when you look at investing a steady amount of money every month over the course of 30 years, that is very important that you keep putting that money there. Now again, in the next 2 to 3 years, the market may change, it may drop. But if you are doing your long-term investing, your investment for 20, 30 plus years, you still want to make sure you're keeping that money going over there and have the slight potential for growth over time. My final tip for 2021 for anyone that owns real estate is now is the time to refinance. Whatever your numbers have been in the past, if you are able to refinance now, you have two major components in your favor. Number one reason for a refinance is interest rates are extremely low right now. If you have anything above a 4%, you can get below a 3%, 2.5% even, to refinance your mortgage. And that's incredible. And that can help with your monthly cash flow. The second thing is housing values right now are at an all-time high. So when it comes to things like PMI, private mortgage insurance, and your loan to value ratio, having your having your property value increase due to just the housing market going up will help your loan to value ratio, therefore reducing your PMI, which again can reduce what your monthly cost is. If you have more cash available because you're able to reduce that number, then now you can take that extra cash and stockpile it up for future investing. A rule of thumb I like to look at is your return on investment. If you can get it within 36 months, and that's the cost of refinancing, whether it's putting the origination fee, the loan fees, your closing costs. If you can get your closing costs and all of that back, all your costs for refinancing back within 36 months, you are good. And really, if you could do it within 5 years, it may be the right move for you. But if you could do it in 36 months or less, that is a very strong move you could do financially to set yourself up for life. So I hope you guys have an amazing 2021. I am going to be putting out some more content, hopefully inspirational content to help you guys get the right mindset when it comes to money, and educational content to help you guys understand, hey, what should I be doing right now with my money given the current circumstances of the economy and the state of affairs when it comes to monetary and fiscal policy and dealing with unknown or unpredictable items such as a pandemic. So I hope you guys continue to watch. I've gotten tons of feedback last year on the content I put out, which has been really encouraging for me. I plan to continue taking on financial coaching clients. If you are someone who wants a little more one-on-one attention and actually have someone go through all your financials, look at your numbers, look at your ratios, and see what are some areas that you can improve your finances on. What are some areas that maybe you haven't considered before that can change how long it will take for you to reach financial freedom? All of these things I do for my coaching clients. So if it's something you're interested in, reach out to me. I'd love to chat with you. And again, for 2021, I look forward to continuing to serve you guys, putting out awesome content, and hope you guys have an amazing year.